Exeter and Harlequins played out the Premiership final. 11 tries. I wasn't planning on doing a video on this game, but someone left a comment on one of the Lions videos saying, if you haven't seen Exeter and Harlequins, you need to watch it because it's just as crazy as the Bristol Harlequins game last week. And I watched Bristol Harlequins during the week, and that game in itself was nuts. And I thought, surely it can't be that nuts. I've gone to a Super Rugby final a week ago, and it was like 2 tries. Finals are close affairs. Teams opting for 3, keeping it safe. Well, somebody failed to tell Exeter and Harlequins how these games are supposed to go. I'll go through some of the stats, some of the key events, and yeah, you guys can let me know your thoughts. There were 10,000 fans at Twickenham. You would have thought a lot more based on the noise that these guys were making on both sides. Great atmosphere, seemingly. I don't know that I've seen many games where the momentum flow was so dominant one way and then back the other. When one team was on top, they were absolutely on top. And both sides apparently like playing with 14 men. That's a weird game. Very entertaining. If you haven't watched it, you should honestly stop and go watch it right now if you've got access to it, because it was a phenomenal game. First scrum of the game within a minute. Exeter get a free kick, which is maybe not all that to be unexpected. But Harlequins won the first penalty. Johnny Hill was offside. Wouldn't be his first offence. Well, wouldn't be his last offence, I should say. He's going to get in trouble a wee bit later. Interestingly, Harlequins in no mood for going for penalties. Smith puts them 5 metres out. Great. He didn't get man of the match, but he played pretty bloody well. He did get yellow carded, so it's hard to give a guy who got a yellow card man of the match, but he puts them 5 metres out. They maul it, and they get a penalty try. The Harlequins maul's gone forward, and Hill just comes in at the side of him. I don't think he was the only one, but the Exeter guys coming outside to push the maul into touch, and you can't do that from the side. Sure enough, it kills the opportunity. Hill gets yellow carded, and it's a penalty try for Quins. So it's an automatic conversion, even though Smith was kicking them beautifully tonight. Well, today, 7 points to 0 to Quins early. Exeter actually had a period of the ball from that try period afterwards, but the Quins guys were just flying out of the line. Their line speed was phenomenal, and I wrote a note like, they can't do this for 80 minutes. Especially after last week. Remember, they went extra time. There's no way these guys are going to have the fitness to go 80 minutes. Interestingly, the yellow card period, though, is kind of dominated by Exeter. As I was talking about, they like playing with 14 men. Harlequins didn't really have a crack during that 10 minutes, that period on 15 on 14. O'Flaherty had a line break. I think he beat Liner, managed to turn him the wrong way. And Simmons was tapped into touch by Liner. Liner only just got him. Sam Simmons, how many times did we see him bursting down the left wing in this game? At least 3. But yeah, it was all Exeter. Eventually, once they get back to 15 on 15, they keep getting penalties. They get advantage. They tap from 5 metres. Cowan Dickey runs it up. Advantage again. They tap it again. Eventually, Johnny Gray goes over from the shortest of distances. He does pretty well, actually, to kind of shift the initial contact and kind of turn around the tackle, because they're obviously trying to push him back from the goal line. But he manages to just push the point of contact to the side and then go over the line. So it's a great try after a few pick and goes, and 7 points apiece. Well done to bounce back from Exeter, to be fair. And they've got all the momentum for the next, I don't know, how long until Harlequins' next try? 38 minutes? Yeah, it's all Exeter. I wrote a note, things get worse for Harlequins because Tyrone Green, who's been under a little bit of pressure under the high ball, he drops one. He looks to the sideline like, did anything happen? No, you just dropped it. You just dropped that one. That one he dropped cold. Scrum with the Exeter feed. Interestingly, Harlequins get the free kick again. And I thought maybe this is a momentum shifter because they need to break out. They've been under the pump. But yeah, it doesn't change momentum because Harlequins get a penalty from their own scrum feed, but when they get a line out, they don't throw it straight. So it's like they had a chance to seize the momentum, but failed to do it. I don't even think the Harlequins guys jumped. The miscommunication was pretty bad. 26 minutes. Again, it gets worse. Michael Liner. What's his name? Liner. Oh, someone will tell me in the comments. Liner, not the son of Michael Liner, goes and puts his foot in touch from an Ollie Devoto kick that just won't go out. He grubbers it through, and it's awkward. It's bouncing. Liner, whatever his first name is waiting to see if it's going to go out. It just won't do it for him. And when he finally goes for the ball, puts his foot in touch. It's a brutal one. Harlequins there concede a penalty from the line-out that Exeter go with. At the Maul, it's a yellow card warning. And then on 29 minutes, Hepburn gets the try. And interestingly, they still get a yellow card to Marcus Smith because he was offside in the build-up to the Hepburn try. They had to reverse the decision because ref goes on-field, no try. He's half a metre out. He just has to drive over. But the footage is pretty clear. They take a long time to look at it. I thought it was a pretty clear try from the first couple of viewings. But either way, it's 14 points to 7. And they've got an extra man now, Exeter. Weirdly, Harlequins with the man down suddenly are able to assert themselves. They get a 5-metre line out down Exeter's end. And eventually they're able to bust over through Wilco Lowe. He beats, I don't know how many defenders, 3 or 4. But he's a proper unit of a prop, isn't he? And he just barrels over. He shouldn't be able to do that. And that's one that Rob Baxter will look back at and go, what were the boys doing there? It's poor defending, but a great run. And interestingly, after Wilco has just scored this prop wonder try, he looks like he's in the queue at the supermarket. He's just so bored. The look on his face is emotionless. He's just scored a try in the Premiership final with his team under the pump, a man down, couldn't care less. Well, he's the opposite to Joe Marler, who's quite a character, isn't he? Wilco Lowe, man. Marchant has to take the conversion because Smith's still in the bin. He misses it, hits the post. 12 points to 14, but they win the yellow card, 5 points to 0, do Harlequins. 40 minutes is a huge Harlequin scrum. They win a penalty right before halftime. They go for touch again. Exeter end up with a yellow card warning, similar to the way Harlequins did. Harlequins opt for another scrum. Healy, the commentator, Austin Healy, who's everyone's favourite guy to listen to, says they've got guts. I would call it killer instinct, man. Harlequins are not keen to just pop over a 3. They really want to put the hammer down, and it works, man, because Don Brandt eventually goes over. Danny Kerr went close after a scrum. But from the next phase, Marcus Smith just puts an inside ball through to Don Brandt, who goes over pretty much untouched. Interestingly, they had advantage, but they don't go for a yellow card. I could hear in the background the ref was telling the Quins guys why there was no yellow card to Exeter. I guess because he was saying that the try was the advantage. But it was weird because with the Hepburn try, the try didn't cancel the advantage, so Smith still got yellow carded. Just one of those things. Doesn't make a difference in the end, but Austin Healy was curious about the pass, saying and maybe it was forward. I thought it was flat, but I'm a neutral, so I always like to give the benefit to the attacking team, as long as it's not against my team. 19 points to 14, that's a lead change again, and it's half-time. Second half, Quins are still firing. Esterhazen, he gets the next try of the game on 44 minutes, and he had a good game as well. I know a lot of people were talking his chances up for the Lions tour, although he wasn't selected for the Springboks. But man, he had a big game. It's Kerr, it's Marchant, it's Smith, it's Liner, all these guys in the build-up. The hands are just phenomenal in terms of an attacking piece of beauty try. That one's phenomenal. Converted 26-14. At that point, it's looking like, man, Harlequins could run away with this if they keep scoring tries like that. But the momentum which Harlequins have had pretty much since that yellow card, again, turns on its head. Exeter bounce back. Sam Simmons gets his try. Apparently it's his first try in a Premiership final on 49 minutes. After a heap of phases and a maul had gone close, Simmons is able to bust over, and he seemed pumped to be scoring that try. And that was all from Harlequins failing to secure the kickoff, actually, which becomes a bit of a theme for them, unfortunately. But it's a bang-bang double with Devoto getting another one a few minutes later. Essentially, they pull the Harlequins pack left, and then Joe Simmons is able to get a line break from a Luke Cowan-Dickey offload, and it's all of a sudden 28 points to 26. It's another lead change. And at that point, you're starting to wonder, if Harlequins are going to have the legs. Because the space they created for the Devoto try was, yeah, it was a pretty brutal one. You're wondering if it's the stamina thing. Interestingly enough, 57 minutes, there's a Simmons, this is Sam Simmons, tackle on Alex Dombrandt, and it's a fun battle to see these guys, because these are both two Premier number 8s who Eddie refuses to call up for England duty. But Sam got the better of that one because he puts in a chop tackle on Dombrandt, and he falls in awkward ways, so Exeter are able to turn him over under a wee bit of pressure. Cowan Dickey goes off, unfortunately, with a bit of a head knock. Hopefully he's all good for the Lions. I'm sure he'll have to go through some return to play protocols after that head knock, but that was unfortunate news for Exeter because he'd been having a pretty good game. And 61 minutes after Exeter win another turnover on Harlequins attack, there's a bit of handbags. You can see the frustration was starting to creep into the game for Quins. Danny Kerr gives a wee bit of a push and shove, and at that point I was like, I think Quins are done. I think that's it. Mentally they've lost it because they're getting turned over, their attack's getting frustrated. I hung the Harlequins jersey there because I tend to wear the jersey of the winning team, and I was like, I think that's it. I hadn't been spoiled to the result, fortunately, clearly. 63 minutes, Exeter get a penalty in Harlequins 22. Very kickable one. They opt not to go for the penalty. They try to get a try, but they get another advantage, and for some reason they switch tack from the second advantage. They do opt for the 3 to make it 31-26. Wouldn't be the final scoring play, but they would wait a long time for their next one. At that point I wrote, yeah, Quins are knackered. The extra time from last week, like they put a long clearance into Hogg to get themselves out of dodge for a bit, and nobody was chasing it. Like putting Hogg under any pressure. Kick was too big. I think they were chasing it, but they didn't get near Hogg. That's just simple. You can't be kicking to Stuart Hogg like that, is what I thought. But interestingly, how wrong was I? Because Lewis, that's his name. Lewis Liner, I didn't write it down, I just remembered it. He gets a try. This one, it's Smith, and I don't know what it is about Marcus Smith. He's got this uncanny knack that when he's got the ball, he seems to have a little bit more time than a lot of other guys at 10. Guys kind of hang off him just a little bit and just slowly get drawn into him. That he creates space for other people, doesn't he? He's a star player. I really hope to see more of him. I know he's another guy who doesn't get called up for England duty, but maybe with the Lions tour, I don't know. I know Umanga is probably the preferred candidate for whatever reason, but I don't watch enough Premiership to comment. You guys will have to let me know. Smith was phenomenal in this game, if you ask me. It's a loose pass, actually. He takes a really loose pass, and it's a proper period of Harlequins phases. He does a goose step, and he's able to get Lewis Liner the ball. A big conversion attempt from the sideline to put Quins in front, and he nails it 33-31. Goodness me, Harlequins are back in front. It's the 4th lead change of the game. Exeter at this point have to chase the game. Yandel knocks it on his own half. It's a brutal one, and Lewis Liner gets another on the right wing. Smith gets the ball to Green, who gets it to Liner. At that point, I was literally clapping. I was clapping because I'd written Harlequins off. My kids are getting ready to have lunch. I'm watching this game delayed. I don't know the result. I'm sitting on my own. I'm clapping. That's how good the game was. I don't just clap a random TV for a historical event by this point. Very often. But that was cracking stuff. At that point, it's 40 points to 31. And I'm thinking, man, Harlequins win. Game over. That's it. That's all she wrote. The conversion, the fact that he nails that conversion, 9 points with that many minutes to go. It's almost game over. No, not a chance, Exeter. But from the kickoff, what the hell happens? Harlequins don't secure it again. Jack Knoll grabs the bloody thing, and they get it was like one phase, and Giannis Kirsten suddenly in the open. He gets the ball to Hogg, and suddenly it's 40 points to 38. Somehow it's back to being game on. Joe Marler had a laugh about that in his post-match interview. He gets man of the match. Eventually, Exeter again have to chase it like they're in the wrong end of the field. Deep kickoff from Quins. Sensible stuff. Yeah, eventually they knock it on, and with like 15 seconds to go, Harlequins run the clock down, kick the ball out, and it's a Premiership title for the Quins guys. Again, I didn't follow this Premiership season that well, but weren't Quins looking hopeless pretty early on? They have absolutely turned it around, man. What a phenomenal team to watch. I don't know if every week is like this, because I've watched them 2 weeks in a row, and both games have been bonkers. But I will say, man, credit to them. Exeter obviously put up a hell of a fight. They are a classy team. They are, you know, recent Premiership and European champions for a reason. They are a very, very good side. I'm kind of, as a neutral, I'm kind of happy that Quins won it, man. Like Exeter, I'm always a fan of the team who hasn't won it for a while getting a crack. If it's a team that's never won it, then I'd be more likely to root for them. But it's been a long time between drinks for Harlequins, so good for them to get a Premiership win. I didn't think, you know, based on recent years, it's been all Saracens, Exeter, and Bristol kind of coming on the scene recently. Good on Harlequins, man. That's a phenomenal game. What a final. Not many finals are like this, man. As I said, I went to a Super Rugby one the other week. One side only kicked penalties and a droppy. Like, there was a couple of tries. They're usually brutal, tight, cautious, cagey affairs, but this game was just bonkers. 11 tries. Smith and Kerr were huge for Quins. Sam Simmons finishes with 49 run meters for Exeter, 3 clean breaks and 4 defenders beaten. You can see what skill set he's going to bring to the Lions with that pace that he's got. Kirsten finishes with 14 from 14 tackles, so defensively solid shift from him. Marchant, 70. I should have mentioned Marchant. Marchant was on fire as well. 70 run meters, 2 clean breaks, 1 defender beaten. So, yeah. What a game. What a game. I'm very, very pleased I didn't know the result. Because it meant, as I said, I was applauding the bloody TV. Crack and finish. And then that hog try just put my mind totally in doubt for the last couple of minutes. Unbelievable game. I need to watch more Premiership, apparently. Yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. It was a crazy game. I'm pretty happy I watched it. Yay for rugby. What a win. What a win. Great crowd. Yeah. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.